Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zzionaesthetic, and today I wanted to hop on here and do a favorite brush video. Earlier today, I did go through my entire brush collection. I sorted out all the ones that I knew I couldn't live without, all the ones that I love but don't necessarily need, and then all of the ones that I don't really use on a regular basis. And then I took the pile of brushes that were my all-time favorite brushes, and from there I picked out 10. These are the 10 brushes that I feel are most important to me in my collection, in doing my makeup. These are the brushes that I reach for daily. These are the brushes that I need to have in order to do my makeup. And these are the brushes that I would recommend to you guys if you were to ask me what my favorite brushes are. So I figured I would just sit down here with you guys and go through all of my 10 favorite brushes. So after I picked out all of the 10 brushes that I was going to show you guys today, I was trying to figure out which order I wanted to, show them to you guys in. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start small, just with the little detail brushes, the eye brushes, and then slowly work my way up to like my highlighting brush, my blush brush, my bronzer brush. Oh, that is such a tongue twister. And I think I'm gonna work that way just because that way we can sort of have a definitive beginning and end and an order, kind of, The first brush that I wanted to show you guys today is actually really, really small. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills number 3 brush. I don't even really know what this is specifically called. Of course, I will link everything that I mentioned down in the description bar. But I purchased this brush before I really knew anything. It was like one of the first brushes I ever bought. And I thought this was like an eyeshadow brush, like a crease brush or something, I had no idea. So I was just like trying to put my whole eyeshadow on with this thing, which obviously did not work out well for me. But now that I sort of know how to do makeup a little bit, I love this brush to this day. This brush is my favorite. It's just I think it's a little liner brush, but I just use it for a bunch of different things. I use this for packing glitter sometimes because it's really easy to get precise application. Mostly what I use this for is just like little eye details. It's like my eye detail brush. Like I will use this like for any number of things. A lot of times for pushing glitter onto the lid if I need something that's more precise, if I'm trying to go for a cut crease or anything like that. I like this because I can really direct exactly where I want the product to deposit on my eyeball. And then also cleanup. This is just amazing for cleanup, whether it's cutting the crease and making sure that you're all crisp, or just straightening out little lines, trying to figure out where you want to put product before you blend it in. Just little detail things. I always reach for this brush, and it just sort of helps me when I need some help, The next one that I want to show you guys is also by Anastasia Beverly Hills and is also quite a small brush, but I use this for an entirely different thing. This is the number 12 brush, and so on one end there is a spoolie, which is always helpful, and then on the other end it is a little angled brush. This is the best angled brush I have ever used for doing my eyebrows. I just love it. Mostly what I use this for is for my dip brow. I use my dip brow almost every single day that I do my brows, and this brush with it, it's just phenomenal. I can literally get more clean lines with this and my dip brow than I can with any other eyebrow pencil or eyebrow product, and that's just insane to me. Like all the way up on the edge, I can get it to look like the edge of a piece of paper, it's just very crisp and clean. And so I use this brush every day, like every single day. Even if I'm not doing full glam, I always do my brows at least a little bit, and I always use this brush for my brows. The next brush, okay, so this one is the only eye blending eyeshadow brush that I wanted to show you guys today. This is by the company Molly, which is becoming more prevalent, I think. I had never ever heard of Molly when I first got this brush. I think I got it in a BoxyCharm probably about 7 months ago. And since then, I have seen Molly popping up here and there. I do know that they are in Ulta now. I don't know how long they've been in Ulta. They could have always been in Ulta and I just didn't notice. But I did notice them in Ulta the last couple times I went there. I did not see this brush in there, but I did see the company in general. They had a little display section. So this is the Molly blending brush. It's this beautiful like purple sort of chrome color. The head of the brush is just such a good shape for your transition shade. It's just the perfect amount of fluffiness, but it really retains its shape. And if you guys can see that, it has a really unique shape. It sort of like tapers from the base all the way up to the top, and then it almost has a flattened top. It's definitely domed a little bit, but it's very flat compared to most of my eye brushes, which go up into more of a point for working in the crease and stuff. And that's why, even though I don't like this for the crease, for the transition, for all of this up here, it is so flawless. It just really blows out any color you use it with, any color you put up there. You can just work it in with this, and it just totally blows it out and blends it in and makes it look just like a natural transition shade. So for today, that is it for the eye brushes. I know I didn't include a lot of like crease brushes or blending brushes or anything like that, but that is because I am going to do a video soon of all of my favorite eye brushes and exactly what I use each of them for. And so I wanted to save, you know, my like 5 or 6 favorite eye brushes for that video. Onto the face brushes. This is a brush that I just got in a palette. This is the Coastal Scents brush. I don't know the exact name. It came in the Coastal Scents blush and bronzer palette, which was a 4-pan palette. I actually do enjoy that palette a little bit, but I really enjoy the brush that came with it. And the thing that I use this brush for is for contour. It just really is the most extremely perfect shape for contour, and I was just honestly blown away when I first used it, because it's not at all what any of my contour brushes had ever looked like. You know, I had very specific shaped brushes for contour, whether they were like flat and thin, or angled in the right way, or just like a little dome for under the cheekbone. But this, the way that it's shaped like this, it's got a really interesting angle that I don't see in pretty much any brush. The reason I like this so much is because if you see this slant right here, it sits so perfectly under your cheekbone that it just carves you out instantly. Like, no playing, no bitching, no fighting, you're carved, you're good. I literally just dip this in my Kevin Aquan, and I just set it right here. If I can move my damn hair out of the way. I set it right here, and I just back and forth it. And because the bristles are shorter and denser at the bottom, it really deposits a good amount right underneath that cheekbone. And because they're a little bit longer and a little less dense up here, it really blows the top of the contour out and like curls it just up in and fades it up into my cheekbone. And so without even building up product, without even really worrying about it, it just does exactly what you want your contour to do instantly. You just take a little bit of the product and do this, and it automatically blows it out at the top and really makes it more dense and pigmented and nice at the bottom, so that you get that perfectly sculpted cheek look. The next brush I wanted to show you guys is one that I could stand to clean. It definitely picks up a lot of product on the handle here because it's a white sort of rubbery material. This is by Artis. Some of you may have heard of this brand. They make this really unique style of brush where instead of the head being, you know, at the end facing up, it is on the side like this. Before we hop into why I love this one so much, I did want to say I'm also planning on coming out with an Artis brush review at some point. I do have 5 or 6 of them of all different shapes, and so I figured I would hop on here and show you guys what I like about them and what I don't like about them. They are definitely a little bit pricey, but they're really, really interesting, and that's what drew my attention at first. But this one right here is the Artis Elite Collection Oval 6 brush. This is just a really good size for me. I find I can do a lot of different things with it, but mostly what I use it for is for my powder foundation, for setting my face. Like after I put my foundation on and after I put my concealer on, then I'll take a translucent powder and set my concealer, but then I'll take my powder foundation on this and I'll set the rest of my face, like all under here, all over my chin, and this whole area, up on my forehead, everywhere where I didn't put concealer. I do use this brush to put powder foundation down. It's very dense and really, you know, kind of holds its shape, and it also doesn't absorb very much product, so wherever you set the brush, that's where the product is gonna go. So I use this quite a bit just for like tidying up, setting, that sort of thing. Now we are to the first Wayne Goss brush. This is the Wayne Goss O2 brush. This is a more recent purchase for me, but since I bought it, I love it. I really originally bought this for baking, like when you bake under your eye and you have all of that powder under there and you've let it sit. I bought this for afterwards so that I could brush it all off like that. This just really can fit right here, right in the inner corner of your eye, and it is just really soft, really beautiful. The shape is really nice to fit right up here. It's just amazing. But as I've played around with this brush a bit more, I have found out that there's another thing that I really love to use this brush for, and potentially even more so than for wiping off my bake. This is such a good highlighting brush. I did not think that it would be. I thought it would be huge, I thought it would be fat, and I love the fan brush, which is actually the next brush I'm going to show you, by Wayne Goss as well, for highlighting. That was always my highlighting brush, and it still is my highlighting brush, but I also use this one. So here is that fan brush that I was just talking about. This has been my highlighting brush for a very, very long time. This one, I almost feel bad showing you guys in this video because it is pretty much always sold out. I know that he restocks it every once in a while, but it's sold out like that, and then it's not restocked for like another 6 months or so. So this is a very like coveted brush for me. This is probably my most valued brush. This one is sort of thicker and fluffier, which I really like because it diffuses the look a little bit more. When you apply that highlighter right at the top of your cheekbone, for a while I was using a different brush and I didn't really know how to do it, I guess. And so I just had two really like specific streaks of highlight across my face. You know what I mean? I didn't have this sort of like blown out a little bit, like looks a little bit more, you know, natural, still poppin', but natural. And yeah, I just had two like runway lines down my face. And then I started using this once I bought it, and it just totally changed my highlighter game. It totally like keeps the product right where you deposit it, but it just blows out the edges perfectly so that you don't have any harsh lines. It doesn't look unnatural. It just looks like you have a glowy face. And so what I've been doing since I got this other brush that I just showed you, the number 2 brush, is I've been taking this one and totally blowing out my highlight and getting it exactly where I want it. And then I will take this one and either pick up the same highlight or a lighter highlight, and I will deposit that right in the center, right on the tops of my cheekbones. And what that does is it makes it more pigmented there, and if I choose a lighter color, it also lifts it there a little bit. So it just really sort of gives some dimension to the highlight, and I've been loving that look. So I've been utilizing both of these for my highlight lately, and my highlight's been pretty on point because of it. And now to the final 3 brushes. This one is not one that I thought I'd like at first, actually, but now is a daily brush for me. This is such a weird shape to me that's why I didn't think I'd like it at first, because I didn't realize, I don't know, I just didn't realize that it was gonna work so well, I guess. I thought it was gonna be denser maybe, but this is the most perfect brush for bronzer ever. The reason that I love this so much is because it's really soft and really fluffy and really malleable, even though it looks like it's going to be more dense. And so when you're actually buffing this into the skin, it totally expands itself. It doesn't stay this exact shape. And so when you're depositing it, it doesn't deposit as small of an amount as you would think from the end. It really gets right in there to the middle of the brush and really spreads that product around. Because of that, this is a brush I will never, ever leave. Don't leave me. Now for another brush that I really like to use for bronzer. This is the Lancome 3 highlighting brush. I think this is not made for bronzer, as it says highlighting on it, but I don't really understand how to highlight with it. I know. This was one of the first brushes that I ever bought. I've said that for a lot of these, but it's true. But when I bought this, I literally had zero idea what it did. I still kind of don't have much of an idea what it does, but when I bought it, I just thought it was pretty. It was a Lancome brush. It was beautiful. It was like $40. I was like, this is so luxury. This was like the first, you know, pretty high-end brush that I ever bought because it just looked so nice to me. I loved the dual fiber look, and it just like looked like an expensive brush that like high-end, classy makeup artists would use, and so I was like, yeah, sign me up. But I have been using this for bronzer. It really just diffuses that bronzer out so that you just look really natural and bronzed and like glowy and fucking great, but not like you're wearing a ton of bronzer on your face. If you guys know exactly what this is supposed to be for, you should let me know in the comments, because it says highlighting, but like, do they mean like top of the cheekbone highlighting? Okay, and now the very last brush that I have to show you today. This is a blush brush, I think. That's what I use it for. I don't know if it's actually a blush brush, but this is the MAC 135 brush. This is a really interesting paddle brush. It's a cool shape. It's kind of pinched at the top. Not very much, but it's just a nice little paddle brush. I just love this for blush because for most of my makeup life or career, or however you want to say it, I was using the Expert Face brush from Real Techniques, or another brush that's similar to that where it's very rounded or very domed, and I would figure out where I needed to put it and, you know, totally buff it out. The reason that I love this one so much, and the reason that I don't use any other brush for my blush anymore, is because the way this paddle is set up just sits so perfectly on the cheek. It's like uncanny. So like when I put my blush on, I like to smile, and so I can see sort of my cheeks and where I need to apply. And so I'll smile, and you see right there where my cheek is, I guess. Then I take this and I can just set it right here. And because of the exact shape and size that it is, if I hold it at that angle, it's the exact height that I want for my blush. And so then I can just pull it back however much I want to and determine how I want my blush to look from there. But I don't have to worry about it being too high up or too low down. I can just do this, and I know that the brush is already the right size. Since I got this, it's just made it so much easier to just buff it out on top of all the other cheek stuff you have going on and get it looking pretty. So yeah, that is my favorite blush brush ever. And that is it. That is all of the brushes that I have to show you guys today. I know there wasn't a ton of eye brushes in there, but I do want to do just a very specific eye brush collection, and so I figured we'd just get into the eye brushes more so in a different video. But for this video, I just wanted to show you guys the 10 brushes that I feel like I use most of all, and that have just sort of been permanent staples in my collection. The brushes that I couldn't live without, and the brushes that I would recommend to you guys. So if you guys did enjoy this video, or if you learned anything, or if you just feel like being nice, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I do make new videos every week, so if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of those, please subscribe. I also do have other social media accounts. I do live stream a lot on YouNow. I post pictures all the time on Instagram. I post articles on Facebook. And I bitch a lot on Twitter. So if you're interested in any of those, please don't forget to follow me on those. I will link all of my usernames down in the description bar, but they're all the same as I am right here on YouTube, just Zzionaesthetic. So type that in anywhere. It'll bring you to where you need to go. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching again, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye!